Hi everyone. I think you can hear me now. My last two videos, I didn't really know how to work the sound, so some weird noises in the background. I guess the sound was going all along and I didn't know. Anyways, I ended up combing out my dreadlocks after about 2.5 months, 3 months of work on them for a very silly, stupid reason. And for the whole month of December, I basically had my regular old hair. And then I started them again in January thinking, man, I combed them out for a really stupid reason. Kind of like one of those moments that you're like, what am I doing? And then you comb your hair out and you're like, oh no! I should have waited and thought about that for a while before I acted on it. Anyways, so I started back again in January, towards the beginning of the month. So January, February, March, I'm coming on 3 months again. And this is going to be my little update. I didn't want to do a 1 month or a 2 month because I already had 1 month and 2 months from before. So they look a little bit better now than they did last time. And they're also starting to form a little bit better than they were and faster. I noticed a lot faster. I don't know what I'm really going to do with this front hair right here. It's kind of like a weird length. It used to be bangs. But I've just been kind of like trying to get it to dread in the small little dreads like this. But almost every time I shower, I have to back comb it every few days just to get it to stay. Except this side. This one right here is actually getting a little dread right there. It's getting kind of, I don't know what you call that, spongy. Kind of feels spongy. My hair right here, on next to my ears, that's kind of getting a little dready too, and it's kind of cool because it happens to be like kind of spiraling too. I just have like little loose hairs all over, I guess. I'll take my hair down. Right now, I sectioned out my hair last time I took a shower, about a day ago, 2 days ago, and I tied each dread with a little tiny piece of yarn, just to keep it a little bit more separate from the rest of them, because I was getting some pretty big problems with congos going on all the time, and I had to like rip one almost in half just to get it not to congo in the back. So that kind of scared me a little bit, and decided to go for like a week or two with each one of them with a little piece of yarn in it, just to keep it separated. Doesn't want to lose its where it's supposed to be. I have a couple of actual really good dreadlocks forming too, actually. If I can find them for you, I'll show you. Let's see. Oh, it's long. If you can see that. It's kind of weird though. This one was forming, this is before I put the yarn in. And it was forming like kind of skinny. It's like not as dreaded up here, but then like right here, it's like massive. Look at that. Hold on, let me try to do that. There we go. It's like this weird ball of hair, and then like some more. I was trying to kind of like pull it apart to make it more round, and occasionally, like a couple times, I've crochet hooked it a little bit. I think what I'm going to do is continue to work with it a little bit and poke in some of those hairs. See, like just doing what I was just doing. Kind of evened it out a little bit more. Get that done. And that one's feeling real spongy. Like this one, I am surprised at how fast that's forming. It doesn't matter how many times I shower or whatever, that is definitely a dreadlock right now. Except for the part up here, which is like, it's dreading too, but it's just way slower and it's skinnier. You know, it's kind of weird. I don't know what's up with that. And I have a couple more too. Like right in that section of my head, I have that one, and then I have, let's see, I have like 2 more that are kind of looking really similar, you know. They have like a skinny part on top, and then it just like bulges out right there. And those are the ones that tried to mate too that I had to cut out. I have a couple under here that are starting to feel more dread-like right there. Getting like that. This side's coming along a little slower, except for the exception of one top dread. Those ones are all coming under my head. I thought there was one. There's one over here somewhere. This one. This one's starting to feel pretty dready up in this area. It's feeling pretty nice. I like it, and I think that the last, oh geez, when did I put this yarn in? Probably like last Thursday. It's Monday today, so almost a week is how long I've had it in. And I think it's really helped keeping it more sectioned. It's nice. I was realizing the back kind of bothers me sometimes, or it was bothering me, because my hair will separate right there, almost in a part, and you can see my scalp. And I don't mind if you see my scalp. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks pretty good on some people, but I don't like it that much. So I was trying to figure out a way I could avoid it. And a really easy way I found is to, on the very back here, I try to like kind of comb my fingers through it so it doesn't dread right away in the back. It dreads like maybe like an inch or two down from where the hair goes, and that just gives me a good amount of hair to cover like the back of my head more, so I don't get as much scalp. I also had, I don't know if anybody else has like mold or anything, but I have like a mole on my head, and it was bugging me for the same reason. Like my dreads were separating right where that mole was, and it looked like I had like a weird, like a strange bump on my head, So I had to like pull that dread apart, and then I ended up being able to like pull the hairs around it so it wouldn't be so in your face, I guess. But there's just some hints if you guys had any similar problems when you're doing your dreads or considering doing dreads. So here is full round view. I won't mess with it because I know some people when they're doing their full thing, they'll put all the dreads to one side so it looks like really, like good and you won't see scalp or whatever. But I won't do anything. I'll just show you how it is. Just took it down. Didn't really mess with it very much. The lighting in here kind of sucks. I don't know how well you can see. I have some really nice ones in the back there for me. And I figured I wanted to start smaller because you can always congo them together a little easier than you can make them into smaller dreads. Ideally, though, I want my dreads to be like, like a little thicker than a Sharpie. Thicker, like a big Sharpie, or like a highlighter thickness, like that. I think that thickness would look really good. I used to do a lot of synthetics and headdresses, not necessarily the typical kind of synthetic dreadlocks that you see, but I would actually knit different materials together to make them out of some very odd materials, actually, for a really long time, and I installed them in my hair and liked it and always debated whether I wanted to get real dreadlocks. And I guess the biggest thing that was causing me to not do it is wondering if, like, what kind of job situation I was going to have. But right now, I'm going into a very professional career. So hopefully once they mature, I can swoop up my hair nicely, or I can work from home, I guess is another option. But a lot of people would tell me, make sure you don't dread your hair until you know what career you get. But it's kind of, in my view, you shouldn't let that control what you want to do, especially if you want to do something to speak out in a freedom kind of way. I maybe don't get that job if they're going to tell you how I see it. There's ways around it too, though. You can work in the same field you want to work in a different kind of way, or through a different person or a different agency or in a different light. And who knows, you might be the odd one out, but maybe that'll set you aside and more people will hire you because of it. You just never know. Now, of course, your moms and dads most likely will tell you, nope, don't do that, don't listen to that girl, she's crazy. But, you gotta think for yourself and you gotta think what matters to you. I mean, personally, I'm going on this, doing my dreads because of all of the stories I've heard and the journey that it takes you through, and being able to see your natural hair just clumped together in the way it would if you were just not putting a comb through it. I don't put any wax, I don't do anything to it. Other than, well, I do maintain it. I have to separate them so they don't congo, and I've backcombed maybe 3 or 4 times. and I crocheted like 3 of my dreads, but I got tired of that. It just took way too much time. So this is the needle I use when I do. It's really tiny. I think it's a 3.5, and I got this from a really beautiful girl that was on YouTube too, and she has a tutorial about how to crochet with the dreadlocks, and that's where I got the idea. I wish I knew what her name was. And I tell you, you should watch all of her videos because she's very well informative about everything you would need to know. Anyways, I guess I've said all about this, so bye.